Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. I had to ask for, I hope you guys are all doing well. I had to ask for discernment. Like honestly, I had to ask for discernment whether or not I should make this video. And I consider what happened. I would consider it a miracle. I really would. And so I'm going to tell you about it, but I can't tell you too much about it. When you help people, like help the poor, do whatever you do to help somebody, it's, like it says in the Bible, don't be like the Pharisees where, they have long prayers, and when they fast, their face is all long and stuff like that, right? It says, pray in private and do all that. That is the type of person that I am. But when this happened, I'm like, okay. I said, honestly, can I want to do that. I want to do this. Like, you have to understand, I'm not the type of person who outwardly tells people what I do, unless it's to actually help a person. So I'm going to tell you about this without, giving away too much. And yeah, I do consider it a miracle. I really do. And if not a miracle on my side, a miracle on the other person's side. So there's a reason why I keep putting in my video description box to donate to the poor, because I'm not just helping the poor feed them. When I see them, I may be able to share, either the gospel with them. I may be able to help them physically, spiritually too. I can go help with a lot of things. I can do things like physiotherapy. I can teach people how to do many things, and I'll give you an example. Because of the things I've been through, because of the things I've studied myself and know how to do it. So I put up an ad and for food, okay, like free food. I've taken that down since, but that doesn't mean I've stopped what I'm doing. There's people who put, like you put up an ad and people will mess with you, right? They have no idea, they're going to find themselves in a situation like that one day and no one will respond to them. The people who purposely go out and try to hurt other people. There's a lot of those types of people. So anyways, I put the ad up, and I get a message one night, and it says, God bless you. I can't pick it up because I'm disabled in my legs. I'm paralyzed, right? I don't want to give away too much. And so, I didn't really, I said thanks, and it didn't take long before I felt kind of convicted, because he's not too far. I don't drive either at the moment. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll get a ride, and I have the food here. And so I went, and I think I described this to you before, but I'll give you a bit more detail. When people respond to me, I don't just respond to anyone. Like if I look on okay, so say it's Facebook, right? Of which I only use Facebook for selling things and like doing ads and stuff. And anyways, so I look at the profile very quickly, and I look down and I see something like this person's really confused about pain that they're suffering with, and I can see that what they're suffering with is most likely the same disease as me, because there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of reasons, and I've had other people diagnosed, so I know what to look for. So I go over to this person's house, and they're not doing well, okay? Like they're really not doing well. They're about to run out of food, about to be kicked out, because they're choosing between food and, okay, you get my point, right? It's quite bad. The person can't sleep, they're in so much pain, they don't drive, no family, all that type of stuff, okay? Just like when I tell you that all the bad things that I've been through in my life, 12 different pain disorders, like 4 pain suicide diseases, and in total, there's about 9 very severe things, okay? I wonder, was it all for a reason? And I've said to you in other videos, could it be for, could all my suffering be just for one thing? Just to lead me to one person, to help save one person. Maybe not save them, like save them, but save them in that moment of their most terrible. Because I was there, right? Just give me a second. I've been talking for a while before this, so just give me a sec. I don't want to upset the Holy Spirit, okay? I'm telling you the truth. I don't want it by giving too much, because I don't want to say like, I'm good. And so I see all the person, the only way they can get around is by like wheeling themselves, and they can barely do that. They were used to be an independent person, and they've got 2 serious neurological problems, pain disorders. And I hear the story like this person had an accident and just a whole lot of bad things. And imagine having nobody, can't afford your own meds, all the stuff, you're not sleeping. You know what it's like? For 5 years anyways, I went with like maximum 2 to 3 hours split up in a 24-hour period. I went into deliriums because I didn't have proper medication. I didn't understand what disorders I had. I was in a lot of trouble. I wasn't eating. I starved. I wasn't even drinking water. I was really close to hospice care. So when I saw this, I'm like, wow. I'm like, am I here for a reason? So I gave the food. I talked to him, and I could look around. I have a very good memory. I have an eidetic memory, like an autistic. Not a full one, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So I get back and I can see all these things in my mind. I can picture his apartment and everything. And he doesn't have batteries to get around. Like, he doesn't have a car, doesn't have anyone to take him around. It's like everything was just let go. Of course I felt bad. I'm like, his electric scooter, he can't even get around because his batteries are now dead. They die like after 3 years or something. This thing, this is essential to live. No toilet paper. So, I got back. I gave quite a bit of food because there was quite a bit had built up. And so I was thinking, like, I know a story. I believe it's possible that he has my disease because he had shots in his spine and he got much worse after that. So I've been trying to advocate on that behalf. Still am. Like to get MRI images and stuff. And so just keep listening. Do it. I'm seriously thinking, listen guys, I'm not rich, okay? I'm not even going to say rich. I'm below average, okay? I'm on myself on disability, and yes, I do work part-time, and I've saved up some whatever, but I'm by no means in the rich category. I have to be safe with my money, right? Everyone's got to learn how to be like that. You can't just be, you just can't be like that. But inside my mind, I'm like, God loves a cheerful giver, okay? And I'm not asking you guys to do the same thing unless you were in a situation where you knew it's just not something you can do all the time, right? And sustain yourself. Keep listening. And so I decided in my head, okay, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this. Like I know what it's going to take, and I'm also going to advocate, like, you know, try to talk to his doctors, do this and do that. A lot of different things. And so, you know, I got the batteries, I got the whatever. I'm just going to say I got those. I decided to do that, and then just give me a second. Just give me a second. Guys, I'm trying to be as humble as I can. I don't even want to speak about this, you know, because you're supposed to do things and not talk about them. Do you know, you've read through the Bible enough to believe there's a debate going on, and it will always be going on. And it's a debate of predestination. Are we predestined for something? And it appears all over the Bible. There are many verses that say we are predestined. I knew you before I knew you in your womb. I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. That type of thing. And it says predestined quite a few times. I also believe it's a choice, but, you know, when you look at believers, right? You see another believer versus someone who just, you can't get anything through to them. You're kind of like, maybe it is. Anyways. Why am I saying predestination? Because do you ever wonder how God sets some things up? Like mathematical genius. You get my point. He can make things happen at certain times because he pre-planned it. So here's the miracle. I'll try to give you another example. Like, what if all the sickness I went through and all the things I went through for all those years was predestined to help this person at an exact specific pinpoint time? I absolutely believe it. I know it. And so it's our choices to do what we're going to do when we're pre-appointed in those moments. And of course, God knows what we're going to do, okay? Like, God knows everything. Don't ever think you can do something that he doesn't know you're not going to do. It may have been that same day, okay? So I'm thinking about, okay, I'm going to have to spend this much money. I'm like, you know, okay, I can take that hit, you know, like I can take that hit and then I cannot do that again. That's what it was. And, pardon me, give me another second. I'm getting very uncomfortable. It's my throat. I think it was the very day. Like it was sent later in the day, but it could have been in the morning. I'm not sure. But it was within 12 hours. I get a message from my apartment building that I'm living in. And I've paid my apartment on time. Every single month, you know, like I paid, you know, like one day before the month begins, the type of thing, right? I never want to miss it, never want to mess with that, have a good credit score, right? And I get a message and it says, please pay only $50 on your next month's rent, okay? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I talk to them, I'm like, what are you talking about? I want to make sure this is correct. And over a series of emails, because I'm like, you know, because if I spend that money, I'm telling the building that I live in, I may not be able to pay you back or easily, right? Quickly, because you're saying I'm not going to say the amount. You can understand how much it costs for an apartment per month. Everywhere in North America, pretty much. So they're saying, I only have to pay that much, I'm like, make sure, please make sure. And they're like, okay, the head office says, please only pay this much because you have a balance on your thing. And, there's a good amount there. I'm like, wow. And I didn't realize it, but I realized it that night. I believe that happened. It was a mistake that was done 6 years ago when I first came in here. When I first came in here, I was very sick, and my dad helped me get in here. And I had to get a down payment, a good sizable down payment, and my disability helped with that, but he also put some in there too. And I got that back. It was a mistake that he made back then. And I have like a ledger, like a thing you can look at on like a portal, but I never look at it because I pay just every month. There's never an issue. So there it was. It's like I felt as if that's a funny time because I had in my mind like, this is going to cost a bit, and all of a sudden, bam, it's thrown at me like that. I was going to do it anyways because I already made that decision before that happened. Last night, I was, at the end of the night, like, just before you go to bed, you have a lot of different thoughts in your head. And I came to the realization that it was predestined. Mathematically, he set it up that way. It has to be. And when I said that, I'm not kidding you. Whether this is part of it or not, as soon as that realization happened, the computer screen right in front of me, the whole screen turned black, I don't know, for 4 seconds, let's say. And it made a little noise, I don't know. It's something that never happens on my computer. I have a nice computer. There's no problems on this computer. That's why I bought this one, to do video editing. And I don't know if that what it was, because it's something that never happens here. But nonetheless, this happened. So I guess my message is this. I know everyone can't go out and help somebody, but I'll tell you something. It feels really good to do it, and I'll tell you, because I don't want to give too much private information, right? The person was in such a state because they had lost so much sleep. They were likely in a delirium like I was, because that's what happened. They couldn't concentrate, because they couldn't sleep, because they didn't have sleep meds. Couldn't afford them. So I helped them with something for sleep, not illegal, let's all just say CBD, just for sleep. Yeah, just cannabis, just the CBD part, I use that before I go to bed, or I can't sleep because of very severe pain, like burning and all that type of stuff. So he messages me, I look at a message today that he sends me, and it says, thank you enormously. Now I can go out on the railway tracks, or where I can go out in the nature with my thing, and I got 6 hours of consecutive sleep, 6 hours consecutive sleep. And that made me feel good. That's all I want to say. I believe this was all planned, like this was to put me in the moment. That's all I have to say. The other thing I have to say is I'm going to try to, I found an article. I've been studying Isaiah, and I was reading Isaiah 52 and 52 and 53 and 54. And I wanted to look at the Jewish perspective of this, like, who do you think this is? And anyways, so I'm going to make it's just an article that they wrote, and I'm trying to study it to see what I'm going to say to each point. You guys would probably find it interesting. The Jewish perspective, and then my perspective of what I think maybe they got wrong. It's very difficult to do, but I'll try it anyways. You can understand my hesitation in wanting to tell what I'm doing for people, right? It's just good to help people. It's good to do good works. I don't mean works because it's the faith that we have in us that makes us want to do these things. And so maybe all those horrible things and the horrible things I still go through, listen, I'm trying to tell you, why did my pain get better? One of the reasons, because of the Spirit inside me. It keeps pushing me. If you guys saw the amount of pain that each one of my disorders causes, then you would understand my faith.